France calls Marie Curie a French scientist. France buries Frédéric Chopin among French cultural icons. But here's the uncomfortable question. How did two of the most important symbols of Polish genius become labeled as French, without ever truly leaving Poland behind? This isn't just about history. This is about identity, power, exile, and who gets to tell the story when a country disappears from the map. And once this pattern becomes visible, it changes how Polish history and European history looks forever. Stay with this story, because the reason France claims these figures explains something much bigger than nationality. To understand why France can claim Marie Curie and Chopin, one uncomfortable truth has to come first. For much of their lives, Poland officially did not exist. In the 19th century, Poland was erased by partition. No sovereign state, no independent institutions, no cultural protection. For artists, scientists, and intellectuals, this created a brutal dilemma. Stay and be silenced, or leave and be absorbed elsewhere. France, especially Paris, became the center of that second option. Paris wasn't just a city. It was the capital of opportunity, legitimacy, and survival. And this matters because history often remembers where greatness happens, not where it begins. That single bias explains more than it seems. Maria Skłodowska was born in Warsaw in 1867. She grew up under Russian rule, where Polish language and education were restricted. Higher education for women? Nearly impossible. So she left. Paris didn't just offer freedom, it offered permission. At the Sorbonne, Maria became Marie. Not because she rejected Poland, but because French institutions required French legitimacy. And this is where the story shifts. Every major scientific breakthrough associated with her name happened in France. Radioactivity, polonium, radium. 2 Nobel Prizes. French laboratories. French funding. French academic networks. From the French perspective, the logic feels simple. She worked here, she published here, she taught here, she advanced French science, but there's a detail that complicates everything. She named polonium after Poland. At a time when Poland had no state, no flag, and no global voice, she placed Poland permanently into the scientific vocabulary of the world. That wasn't accidental, that was political. So when France calls Marie Curie French, it isn't theft, it's institutional memory. And when Poland insists on Maria Skłodowska, it isn't nostalgia, it's historical survival. Both claims exist because both are true. This debate isn't just academic, it affects museums, school textbooks, international recognition, cultural prestige. When global audiences hear French scientist Marie Curie, Poland quietly disappears from the narrative. And this pattern repeats far beyond Curie. Scientific credit follows institutions, not origins. Countries with uninterrupted power keep their geniuses. Countries erased from maps watch theirs get relabeled. And nowhere is this more emotionally charged than with Chopin. Frédéric Chopin left Poland at 20. He never returned. That fact alone is often used to frame him as French. But context changes everything. Chopin left just before the November uprising of 1830. Soon after, Russian repression made return dangerous and possibly impossible. What followed wasn't migration, it was exile. In Paris, Chopin became famous. But his music didn't become French, it became more Polish. Mazurkas, polonaises, rhythms tied directly to Polish folk dance and national memory. These weren't fashionable choices in Paris, they were acts of remembrance. And here's a detail that matters deeply. Chopin asked that his heart be returned to Warsaw after death. Not his legacy, not his reputation, his heart. It still rests there today. So when France buries Chopin in Père Lachaise, it honors the artist who lived in Paris. When Poland preserves his heart, it honors the man who never stopped belonging. France has a specific cultural philosophy. If someone contributes to French intellectual life, France claims them as French, regardless of origin. This isn't unique to Poland. Picasso was Spanish, Beckett was Irish, Apollinaire was born in Italy. France absorbs brilliance, and because Poland lacked sovereignty during crucial decades, it couldn't compete with that narrative power. This isn't arrogance, it's continuity. States that survive uninterrupted get to tell cleaner stories. States that disappear inherit fragmented ones. This isn't really about France. It's about how Polish greatness repeatedly had to leave home to exist. Scientists, artists, composers, intellectuals. When opportunity lives elsewhere, identity becomes negotiable. And yet, despite exile, renaming, and institutional absorption, something remains consistent. Polish cultural memory never lets go. Names are preserved, origins are taught, symbols are defended. That persistence is why these debates still matter. They aren't about ownership, they're about recognition. Marie Curie belongs to science and to Poland's resilience. Chopin belongs to music and to a nation that survived through culture when politics failed. France didn't steal them. France provided a stage, but Poland provided a soul. And maybe the real question isn't why France claims them. Maybe the real question is why. Despite exile, erasure, and pressure, Poland never stopped claiming them back. If this story shifted perspective, consider sharing it with someone who's only heard the simplified version. Thoughtful conversations grow culture stronger, and if more stories like this matter, subscribing helps keep them alive.